Hi everyone, Jake Eaglefire here with National Wealth Center Team Destiny, coming at ya on day number 16 of my 30-day video marketing bootcamp series. Today's video is all about building rapport. This is a great topic for any network marketer because you want to know how to build good rapport with people right from the beginning, break the ice, and get in there, establish a good connection as soon as possible. Because in this type of business, you're really aiming to build lifelong connections, lifelong customers, and the best way to do that is really by establishing rapport right from the start. So what is rapport, you may be wondering? Well, by definition, rapport is a relationship marked by mutual understanding and trust. You could also describe it as getting on well with a person or a group of people through commonalities, through things that you share in common. My first tip for building rapport is to use non-threatening and safe topics for the initial small talk. You want to avoid asking the other person too many really direct or personal questions about themselves, and to really focus more on established shared experiences like the weather, how you got to where you're at. Maybe you find out where the other person's from and you could comment that you hear it's beautiful there or that you've always wanted to go there or things like that. You really just want to establish some good commonalities from the start, nothing too personal. The idea of this first tip is to really get away from talking about the business for a minute. You probably start the conversation briefly talking about the business, but then you want to move into some of these safer topics where you're establishing a more human connection with the person, and really building those shared experiences to have some trust and have more to talk about as the conversation unfolds. So anything political or religious, generally, that'll put up more barriers than anything else. So these are topics I tend to avoid. Just focus more on the weather. Maybe you could even talk about, the person might even start getting into some of their current pain. They might talk a little bit about their work. And for example, if they talk about how they're working at a restaurant and they want to move out of that and be able to be free to travel the world, I would be able to totally relate to that pretty easily, as I've had a similar situation in my life, and could relate to their pain, and that'll really open up the space for the conversation to unfold further. That's just an example, guys, though. Obviously, you've had a totally different set of experiences, so you're going to want to base your conversation off of that. The next tip, guys, is to listen to what the other person is saying and look for shared experiences and commonalities. So it kind of builds off that first one where the person will be responding to what you're saying, and you just want to listen for what they're saying and keep it in mind because you'll be able to use this in the conversation later. My third tip is to find a way to inject an element of humor. Now, you don't have to be a complete comedian, but laughter really does go a long way in connecting people and helps to create harmony between people. I mean, laughing and enjoying jokes and things like that, it's really a universal human trait that, people have making jokes and enjoying humor since the beginning of time. So you can rest assured that if you can find a way to inject an element of humor, it'll go a long way in establishing trust and rapport and will really help your connection with the other person. Even if you're not actively making a joke, it can really just help to get across the fact that you have a lighter side, a more carefree side, and that you get along well with people and have a more fun side to yourself. It's not all just business with you. One other thing about this tip is I don't recommend making jokes about the other person or about other people, as this can come across as gossipy, and also you don't want to offend the other person or put a bad taste in their mouth. So keep your jokes more about maybe yourself, the situation you're in, or more neutral things. But find a way to inject an element of humor and lightness to the conversation. My fourth tip, and I'm going to look down on my list here to stay on track, it is to show some empathy. And I've already touched on this a little bit at the beginning of this, but really you want to build off of those commonalities that you've established, and not only that, but really throughout the conversation, let the other person talk. Give them a chance to really speak, share their pain with you, share their situation. Let that person know that you hear them, you're there for them, and also as you're moving forward that it's a good sign if you're listening to them now that you're going to continue to listen and be there for them to support them, that you actually care about them. And not only that, but in showing empathy, you relate to them and could even maybe share some of your own experiences as well to show that you relate, but you don't want to be talking a lot more than they are. You want to really give them the chance to speak and have their time. So in showing empathy, you're really getting across that you understand and relate to the other person's point of view, that you listen to them, you care about them, and it allows you to go further with those commonalities and really be on the same wavelength with each other, which is really key to good rapport. My fifth tip is to use the person's name early on in the conversation, and also throughout the conversation is good, as much as you can, because this will not only come across as polite and communicate that you care enough about the other person, at least enough to remember their name, but it will also help you to remember their name. In fact, I even recommend, this is what I do anyway, is that I like to plug the person's name into my phone so that when I call them or anytime they're calling me in the future with any questions, I'll always know who's calling and I'll be able to address them by their name. So they'll know that I care, and it'll establish that level of politeness and respect, and it'll also help me to remember it as we move forward in our connection. My next tip is to ask the other person open-ended questions. This is a pretty important tip because if you're asking more yes or no questions like, did you like the last job or business opportunity you were in, and they say no, then you're pretty much, caught there having to think of another question to ask because that really puts a stop to the flow of the conversation. So the point of asking an open-ended question like, what did you like the most about your last business opportunity or job or something like that is that they can elaborate on that, and it allows the conversation to keep flowing as you gain more information and you can build from there. My next tip is to talk about things that refer back to what the person has said already. So in the script that I use, and by the way, this is a script that works very well and that you'll have access to as well when you join with me. It's on my team training site. But when I'm using my script, I will often first be asking open-ended questions, as I was just talking about, that focus on the person's struggle and pain. And then I'll build on that and get into what's causing that struggle and pain. And from there, I'm able to offer a solution to them. So when I'm talking about things that refer back to what they've said, it helps to establish that I care about them, that I'm listening, that I'm paying attention, and it also provides a way to draw links between what I'm currently talking about and the solution that I'm providing and the information that they've shared with me previously. My eighth tip is to be genuine and real. People can spot a fake from a mile away, so you want to be yourself and maintain who you truly are while also finding ways to establish little connections between you and the other person. You're being yourself, and you're also being somebody who relates particularly well with others, and there's nothing wrong with that. So do all that you can to foster that connection while maintaining who you are, and it'll go a long way in establishing trust and rapport. My ninth and final tip is to follow through and always do what you say you're going to do, because you got to keep in mind that rapport can be lost as easily as it can be gained. So you want to stay consistent. Don't commit to things that you can't keep up with. Always do what you say you're going to do while keeping in mind that if you do this right, these will be lifelong customers that will stick with you forever. So building good rapport is well worth your time and energy. It'll do wonders for your business and will really help you to build a strong team and establish those healthy connections right from the start and be able to maintain them consistently. So do what you say you're going to do. This isn't like a typical sales setup where you're on the phone with somebody and they build rapport with you really quickly and then you're handed off to a sales team who closes you and then that's all you ever hear from them. This is lifelong customers that you're looking to build in your network marketing business. So please do follow these tips to establish commonalities with people and really build those threads of trust because it will serve you for a long time to come. So that's going to be all for today, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Whether you're in network marketing in general or you're with National Wealth Center, I'm sure you'll find these tips valuable, and I hope that you implement them because it's going to help you to build a strong team. These are great tips for building a strong foundation in your business. Also, keep in mind that on my team training site, I have a script that I follow that very much implements a lot of these tips around building rapport. It's very much built into the script itself. So when you join me in this business, you'll have access to that script as well. And I'm sure you'll find it valuable if you're looking to follow up with people on the phone or even through email. You can implement these tips simply by using the script. It's built right in. So that's it for today, guys. I hope that y'all have an excellent day, and I will see you tomorrow for day 17.